So I'm not going to say that I like making this video or I really wanted to make this video, but I'm just so pissed off. I'm disappointed in Linus. I'm going to start off by saying that I don't think they're shills or dishonest. I feel like this is just a screw up. And maybe it's just clickbait. But come on, Linus. Come on, Linus. I can't help but disappoint in you. I've watched hundreds of your videos, and I am a big fan. And I genuinely thought, you could have done this review way better. And there were so many screw ups in this video that I had to make a video to point it out. And maybe you see this, maybe you see someone else's message on this, but come on, Linus. All right, so I don't know if you've watched the 10th Gen Intel CPU reviews on Linus's channel. I mean, they put in effort to this. I'm not going to say that they're slacking off, but let's be honest, this review was not good at all. There's a lot of misinformation. There was a lot of info left out. There's a lot of things that, some people would say be left out on purpose. I don't think it was left out on purpose. I think there was just sleight of judgment, and I think there was a lot of miscommunication in your team. That's my guess, at least, as to why you missed out so much of this stuff. If I'm not wrong, you're still working from home, so as a result, you're definitely going to forget some stuff. But Jesus Christ, I hope you make a video, explaining some things in this video, because just so many things wrong with this. So the first thing I want to point out is this deceptive price demonstration. Maybe you only got these numbers for Intel, but you didn't talk about how these prices were wholesale distributor prices rather than retail prices. If you're just like a normal viewer who isn't as careful, you would think, oh, that's like $13 more for the i5 over the Ryzen, but you get like 20 more FPS. Oh, that sounds like a good value. And then they would listen to you rambling on and on about how Intel's the gaming king. And that person who is like, oh, I'm just a gamer, will decide that, oh, okay, I'm just going to go with an Intel chip then because it seems better. But in reality, this isn't the actual price difference. The Intel CPUs will be way more expensive than this because this is the wholesale PC price and not a retail price. So in reality, the price difference isn't $13. The price difference is probably $30, $40. Who knows how much the markup will be, but the markup will be there, and then the value proposition will be more insane. My second problem is the message in your video that Intel is the gaming king and it should be the choice for gamers. Yes, Intel is the top when it comes to the absolute high end of gaming, but it shouldn't be the CPU of choice for gamers. First off, it's the value proposition thing. If you are a buyer, you should always be buying off of value. And when it comes to value, ignoring all other features, AMD is still better value when it comes to gaming. If you just focus on gaming performance, you'll realize that the performance delta isn't big enough to justify the differences in price between the CPUs. And then there's this too. The price delta is actually bigger than just the retail markup and this price difference. You have to also consider the fact that these two AMD CPUs both come with decent stock coolers. And if you don't run all these CPUs at stock, you still need to buy an aftermarket cooler, in fact, quite a beefy one for the Intel chips, further increasing the price difference. Secondly, if you wanted to overclock these CPUs, you now have to get a beefy cooler for all of them, reducing the price difference. Okay, understandable. But AMD's CPUs will probably have much more headroom to overclock because they're much lower heat chips than the Intel CPUs, which are running at 90 degrees Celsius, which means you probably can't overclock them much at all, which further reduces the performance difference, increasing the value for the AMD chips. On top of that, you have to factor in the fact that, you can overclock these AMD chips on cheaper B450, B550 motherboards, while this Intel CPUs, well, the pricing isn't confirmed yet, but it's likely that the motherboards that allow overclocking for these two Intel CPUs will cost a fortune because they're going to need really good VRMs for that large amount of power that the CPU requires, and they're going to need really, really good cooling because these CPUs run really hot. So those are reasons why I'm disappointed in your message that Intel is the gaming king and should be the choice for gamers, and it seems that Intel's back to being, the gaming king. Another thing that I'm really, really annoyed about and really disappointed about you saying is the fact that you pointed out the differences between Zen 2 and 10th Gen as being the same as the difference between Zen Plus, and 8th Gen. That makes no sense at all. Look, there is a difference, and Intel single core in this case is better. I understand that's true, but your benchmarks back me up in saying that the difference between Zen 2 and 10th gen is way, way, way smaller than the difference between Zen Plus and 8th gen. And if you were to say that they were very similar and they're the same, then you're misleading all your viewers and you're really just lying. Okay, maybe it's not intentional. Maybe the numbers didn't come true to you. Maybe your writers screw up. Maybe you're sensationalizing for views, but Jesus Christ, can you not say that? Because Zen Plus is much, much slower than 8th gen when it came to gaming and single core performance. Your benchmarks say that. But when it came to gaming and single core performance between Zen 2 and 10th gen, it's quite apparent and quite obvious to see that the difference and performance delta is really much, much smaller than you comparing it to the Zen 2 than the Zen Plus and 8th gen. I think it's unfair for that comparison to happen, and I think you shouldn't make that comparison at all. It's not dishonest. You're not lying. Maybe you're not lying because lying requires intention, but it's completely incorrect to make that assertion. And yes, I agree that Intel made great innovations with this CPU. You know, honestly, there are some cool things going on here that I respect. You know, Intel's engineers are working with what they have. But come on, Intel. Come on, Linus. I'm not accusing you of being a shill or being paid or bought out by Intel, but there's just so many things wrong with this review that I hope I thought you all could do better than this, especially for such an important CPU launch that, you know, I can't help but be bummed out by how this review panned out. Because watching your benchmarks and listening to what you say, there's just a complete disconnect. And as a long-time fan of LinusTechTips, I hope you can do better, or you can address this in like a follow-up video, because seriously, a lot of this doesn't make sense and a lot of this is not true and incorrect. So that's it for this video. I'm not going to monetize it because I don't want to monetize myself off of drama, but I just wanted to make this video as a message to LinusTechTips. Whew.